We head to Japan, to the Suzuka circuit for the latest round, round 13 of the Apex Online Racing PC Split 1 Championship, and with 3 rounds to go, the championship is so close right now. We don't know who's going to win the championship, but they come to a fantastic and classic circuit on the entire calendar, and we're going to give you guys a little track guide of the circuit being driven by our very own Marco FD as he now begins the lap then here in the Mercedes as he heads down the main straight, and then where the DRS will be enabled for these drivers. Only the one detection and activation point around the circuit. Going to go all the way down towards turn 1 here. Going to be braking at the 50-meter board, dropping it down a few gears here into 4th gear, then down to 3rd actually, and up to short shift up to 4th and 5th, and then through the beautiful S's section, one of my favourite sequence of corners in the AOR PC Split 1 Championship by a country mile, as he takes it very nicely, Marco, through this beautiful and iconic section of the circuit. Going up then, up the little crest of hill, just getting a little bit of curve there, as he's going to go through to the end of the first sector and going in to the crossover point where they actually go under where 130R is here, just dropping it a few gears as they go under the bridge then, up towards the hairpin, which is famously known for Kobayashi overtaking quite a few drivers here. And he's going to take it nice and easy, going to hit that apex nicely there, and on exit as well, very crucial to get a good exit on towards the little long straights here before Spoon Corner, the double left-hander coming up, very crucial to get a good exit out of this corner. And Marco's going to brake at the 50-meter board, drop a couple of gears down to 5th, and then he's going to drop it down to 4th, and then up to 5th straight away to save a little bit of the traction down the rear. Down where the other alternative pit is, you can see on the right hand side there, but coming up to one of the iconic corners, 130R, completely flat in the dry, is going to take it nice and easy through there towards the final corner, then the chicane section, brakes a few down a couple of gears there into 2nd gear, then short shifts up to 3rd gear as well just to help with the traction. And that has been a lap of the Suzuka circuit for round 13 of the AOR PC Split 1 Championship here on AOR. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Apex Online Racing PC Split 1 Championship. We have arrived for round 13 here at Suzuka, one of the most iconic tracks on the calendar, and I am Ryan L83 once again with you guys. Unfortunately, Chris cannot be here again, unfortunately due to personal reasons. We wish his wife the speed recovery as well. She's had an operation. So join me once again in the main commentary booth alongside me is our Ted Kravitz of AOR. It is Marco FD. Marco, great to see you again, my friend, and looks like we've got a wet one tonight.
Hello Ryan, great to see you as well, of course, and also like to wish you a speedy recovery on your little flu. And a wet one, like your nose at the moment, Ryan, and it looks to be very interesting in quali, especially because the race will be dry, but I think that this quali will give us a very nice mixed grid tonight.
It shall indeed. We have seen some very mixed grid slots in qualifying when we've had the wet conditions, so as you said, we could see some surprising results here tonight. Just want to give you guys a little bit of an update from last time out in Monza. You may have saw that Slick picked up his very first AOR victory, when unfortunately his win was taken away from him as S13, who was finished in 2nd place, had a penalty. One of his 2 penalties got removed by the stewards, and he regained his 1st position there, so Slick drops to 2nd. Which is a real shame, really, but it is what it is. The stewards did think that S13 not gaining an advantage at turn 1, and unfortunately that has happened. But it does mean as well that for the championship fight as well, Marco, Wycombs is not here tonight, and he's not here next week as well at the United States. So Berg has a great shot here of winning this championship as early as possible.
Yeah, definitely. Berg needs to seize the moment here and capitalize, get as many points, and well, let's see how he manages this race, if he goes conservatively for points here, or if he just goes out flat like he usually does.
Well, we've got a bit of a traffic jam here. All these guys are straight out of the pits here, and they just want to get a lap on board. But what would you give advice to these drivers, Marco, in these conditions in qualifying? Would you put a bit of fuel in the car, get a few laps under your belt, and then come back in for another fresh set? As actually Kadon's gone off the track there at turn 1, just coming back on safely there, which is good, unlike a certain Daniel Kvyat in qualifying yesterday in Hungary, of course. So, but yeah, Marco, what would you do in these scenarios in qualifying with the full wet conditions, and what would you do?
I think that you pretty much said what I was gonna say on this. Just like put in some fuel, build it up, see where the grip is, and it's not gonna get any better until the end. So might as well, stay out because the wets, keep up for a pretty long time, and maybe, like you said, go out for a fresh lap in the end. But I don't think it really matters on these wets, grip-wise, if you have 4 or 5 laps on them.
We just saw that Andre's retired from the session, so hopefully he can come back into the session, which will be great news for him. Papa's in the chat. I think you should be on the track, mate, not in the pits. But Papa, you should get out there, mate. Max at the minute watching him. He's right at the back of Mathis here in the Haas, and obviously we may see some difficulties with these trying to not make any mistakes there, Max, but he has got that Haas ahead of him, which could distract him a little bit, but he is going to get a beautiful run out of Spoon and get slipstream. But this could be very scary going to 130R. I don't know what is going to happen here, but Mathis, they're going to go side by side actually to 130R. Max taking it very, very aggressive there, and he gets through, but is that going to affect him on his lap? And what are we going to see, Marco, for times tonight in the wet conditions? It's going to be obviously not like a 130 or something that we see in the dry round here. So what are we expecting from these guys tonight, as we'll see Max come across the line with a 152.4. Marco?
Well, as we can see, the drivers are currently all building up their pace, because some drivers are taking a little more risks right ahead. Street just set the fastest lap, but he only has the quickest last sector, for instance. I don't even believe the top 10 has the fastest first sector. Oh well, Slick in 4th has the fastest second sector, for example. Considering lap times, I'm not really, let's say, not the best at wet predictions, but I'm gonna say a low 48, high 47.
Very interesting there. And Papa's just said in the chat he's not racing this week, so if that's fair, Papa, hopefully you can have a little bit of a nice relaxing Sunday night and watch the drivers in Split 1 endure the wet here tonight. But Berg down in 8th place, our championship leader. Not having a good... Actually, no, he's not the championship leader, is he, Nick? Mark, why do I call you Nick B?
Wycombe has it.
Yes, because Berg disconnected last week, and that's got to be on the mind of Berg here in the championship fight. He just randomly disconnected from the session, and it was down to connection, actually, his internet. So hopefully he's been resetting his router constantly today to make sure he is A-OK for this race, and he's going to come up to the line. It is an improvement. It's a 49 flat, goes P1. Great time there from our current, second place man in the championship, let's say that.
Yep.
But in terms of the points, in terms of the championship fight, Wycombs, who's not here this week, is currently on 172 points, whereas Berg is on 168 points. So he's 4 points behind, but can have a massive opportunity here to extend or take the lead of the championship and make a big point haul tonight. But wait and see, as Strees is about to start a lap, as he's done a 206 there. As
someone that doesn't belong here joins the lobby.
Yep, so I don't know who that is. So I'm not sure if we're going to have the glitch again here. We may have to stay in the lobby here, Marco, just in case. Obviously,
just wait for a yellow flag to turn up from someone
well, he's left the session now, so that's fantastic. So he must have heard us, which is great. But we don't want a repeat of Spa when we had some issues with people joining and making it full lobby, so we could not get back into the session, of course. Stree's taking it very easy here, who on his first official race in AOR, obviously he was a reserve driver, but he was promoted to the Ferrari seat on a permanent basis, taking over Nick B. Great start from him, I think, in that Ferrari, winning. Well, he actually won the race now after the stewards removed his penalty there, Marco. So is he one to keep an eye on maybe for next season when we head over to F1 2017? Is he a title contender, would you say?
Definitely, Ryan. So far he has exceeded all the predictions in lap times by at least 2/10. So that just tells you that those guys on Xbox are really serious racers as well.
They do. Bailey, just want to answer your question, mate. I used to run in this. Me and Marco were former PC Split 1 drivers, but we kind of retired, and we're now more into the commentary side of things, and Marco's my Ted Kravitz. So Likes to. It's good to have him on board. You know, just gives him an insight of a former champion. But you never know. I may return, but so watch this space. But not yet. I just want to have a few.
Still do a one-off every once and then. That's,
oh yeah.
That's all nice.
I could always just do the social races like I did last time in Monza.
Yep.
So you never know. I could be doing another one very shortly. Maybe last race of the season. We'll wait and see. Here comes Strees then, and he's about to start another lap here as he's dropped to 3rd place. As RBK actually has just gone pole, by the way, with a 48.6. As so that's 4 tenths quicker.
His first is very slow though. It's like 4 tenths slower than Nuka, who's in P4.
So, as Springer, obviously a reserve driver, making his first appearance tonight, and also as well, Nally returns to the AOR after. I think he left in the mid-season or last season, I can't remember.
Yeah, he had wheel issues as well, and I think he got a replacement now, finally.
Which is very good news, and he's back in the seats, which is fantastic, as he's going to come in to the pits. Is our current pole man right now, and the RBK fans in my chat will probably be blowing up now knowing that he's on pole. Apparently Nick B is coming back for F1 2017. I would rather hear it from the man himself, but it would be great to have him back. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. As Berg's going through 130R then. A 48.9 middle sector. I don't know if that's any good, but we'll wait and see as he's coming into the final couple of corners then. Is Berg in the Mercedes driving as Lewis Hamilton comes out in that final corner. Is this going to be a pole position? No, he's not. He's going into the pits. Is Berg. And I think some of these drivers will be heading back to the pits for another set of the wet tyres. I was going to say super softs then. Don't know why, but you know, it's been a long day today. Strees then.
Now he seems to have lost his left rear tyre before the final chicane.
He has indeed, as here comes Strees then, into the final sector then. Very crucial one. Famously known for the Senna Prost. He's actually gone off the track there. Strees just locked up there and went off at the chicane, and he comes into the pits and he stays in P3. Nuka going back, no he's not, he's going back into the pits in P4. As we're now watching the McLaren of Afro in P5 as he's just gone back out again. So we're going to go on board with the McLaren driver here. Just give you guys a little bit of an insight to this track and the conditions right now. I don't know if it's you, Marco, but it's getting a little bit better right now on the track. There's not a lot of standing water off track, and not as much as we saw earlier in the qualifying session. So I don't think it's going to get any better, but would anyone take a risk for Inters potentially if it, like, what's the word I'm looking for here? It becomes light. Would anyone take a risk, or would they just carry on with the wet tyres?
I don't think they're going to go for Inters because it's still raining very hard, and the predictions were that, like, the pictogram said 3 raindrops for the entire session. So
a full wet race, full wet quali then, so yeah. Heavy rain, so that's always fantastic. As Afro loses that back end a little bit there, as he's going to come up to the line. Is he going to? Oh, he's not actually. He's on his actual lap now. Is Afro, and he's going to come down the straight then, where we'll see the DRS being enabled in the race, but not in qualifying because it is wet, and it's basically disabled in wet conditions. As he takes it very nice and smoothly there through turns 1 and 2 as he's going to go through the S's. And I think you agree with me here, Marco. A fantastic section here in the dry, but in the wet it's a little bit easy for these drivers.
It is amazing in the dry, for sure, and in the wet it's really tricky because you need downforce and you can't go fast through this section because it's wet, so it tends to be a lot, really slippery.
We'll see. And Jordan, it is a dry race, so that's another thing I was going to bring you to, Marco. The strategy for tonight, with it being a dry race. Obviously we've got the soft, the medium and the hard orange stripe tyre this week. What would you do for strategy, and what do you think like the top guys and what the guys would do outside the top 10 do tonight?
Yeah, a very good question, because everyone gets to start on fresh tyres after all. So let's see, even in the top 10 you can go for a different strategy this time. So I'd say ideally you want to go for the one stop here, because you can easily go from mediums to hards. Hards last around 18 laps, I believe. And there's 27 laps to the race, right?
I think there is, yes.
So maybe even people can even do fresh soft to hard if they can start on fresh ones.
We'll see as here comes Afro then, coming out of the final corner then. Just runs a little bit wide though out of the corner. He's going to come up to the line. I don't think it's going to be pole position, but it's going to be somewhere in the top 5 maybe. He goes actually second, so he's actually proved me wrong there. And he's done a 48.7, and he's only a 10th off the pole time. And Slick, with a good performance actually from Monza last week, just coming to here again for a second week in a row. He's in P3. A good job there from the Mercedes driver. And he's actually out.
What was really noticeable is that Afro has a very fast first sector, 4 tenths quicker than RBK, but RBK gains it all back in the last one with 7 tenths.
One thing as well, Slick is out qualifying his teammate, experienced teammate in Berg von Trips. That's got to be a big confidence boost here for Slick, and obviously, technically winning the race in Monza last week. Obviously a big moment for him in his AOR career before he got it stripped away, and yeah, it's good for him to see, and he's picked up his pace a lot. He was normally in the mid pack, wasn't he, and he's down the pecking order at sometimes in this one, so it's great to see Slick picking up his pace up there. So we've got some yellow flags out actually on the main straight, so I don't know what's happened there.
Not sure, but yeah, you're right. Ryan Slick must have gotten a confidence boost, even though he got second place in points. He got the feeling of winning a race back Sunday, so that must have given him some confidence.
Yep. Renault wants to know if was it Strees in the McLaren in Germany. He was a reserve driver, and any reserve drivers can just go in to a car that is available. From the permanent drivers, you can't make it. And there was a spot open with Nick B leaving the league, and Strees was put in the Ferrari as it was the first available car. So that's why he's now in the Ferrari and not in the McLaren. Failer then.
He's on a lap actually, so I might want to watch him.
I'm going to be watching Failer as he's in P3 at the minute, so he's done a good job there in that Force India. As Berg has just gotten pole with a 48.3 by 3 tenths of a second from our championship contender. That is big right there. But I think the track is going to get quicker as we go along then. Strees, he was actually on pole, is now down in 7th place. So that is not where he wants to be. And we know he's quick, but not where we want to see from the Ferrari man right there. But we've only got 1 minute and 50 seconds to go then. So everyone frantically going out on track. And here, we're going to watch the manner of Fizzy going through Spoon. And he's currently in 10th place at the minute, as he's got a Haas just ahead of him there. So hopefully that Haas will not distract him as he comes out of Spoon corner, taking it nice and easy, and he may get the benefit of slipstream as well from that Haas up ahead, going towards 130 on. It's not going to be flat. We're going to go on board with him actually, and you can just see that he has to lift off and shift down to 7th gear. But we can see now there's light rain on the circuit, but I don't think it's going to be intermediates just yet. But I don't think anyone's going to take that risk with only 1 minute and 15 seconds on the clock. Fizzy's going to come up to the line then. Is he going to improve? He moves up to 6th place with a 49.1. Good time there from Fizzy.
And Strees was actually purple in the first sector, so you might want to look at him finishing his lap.
I am indeed. We've got some yellow flags out in that middle sector. It's actually for the Red Bull there. I don't know who it is. I think it may be Nooker letting Strees through. And he runs a little bit... Oh! Runs a little bit wide there. Out of 130R. He will get another lap in here, will Strees, if he... has the fuel to get round there, so he's going to come up to the line. Is it going to be an improvement? It is going to be, yes it is, it's up to P2 with a 48.4, but crucially he gets another lap on the board there, so that is great news for him. With the track drying up quickly, we'll see some times plummet right now, with RBK now going through 130R very nicely there, coming into that final corner with a 48.6 middle sector. Is this man, RBK, going to get his first pole in AOR? We're about to find out then, going through the final corner. Is it going to be an improvement there? Just loses the back end a little bit there, but goes up the line. He doesn't improve with a 48.7, but luckily he'll be the last man on a qualifying lap as the session now heads to 0, and everyone will be now getting their last laps then. And I'm going to keep an eye on Berg here as he's just popping through the end of the first sector. And he is definitely one to keep an eye on there if he's going to be on pole position. But Strees is the one to keep an eye on right now. He's only 9/100ths off.
Retired.
He has. Afro's retired. Yes, he has. RBK then. I think he must have had an invalidated lap there, Strees. So he is done. He must have cut the corner. But he's only 9/100ths off Berg's time there. Chicane is also retired from quali.
It's very interesting as well, because Berg at the moment doesn't have purple sector on any sector, but he does have the pole time.
That's very interesting, actually. Thank you very much for that one there, Marcos. Failer's retired now from quali, as we're going to see RBK then go through the hairpin as Fab Racer has retired from the session, as we're watching RBK right now. Marco, if you want to just take the viewers through this last part of the lap here.
RBK, okay, here we go, into Spoon. Looks like he's got the line right here, and has a great setup on the exit as well. Didn't lose the back end like Berg just did on the exit, so let's see how he goes through this final sector, how much he can be on the throttle through this corner.
Lucas
Lifts
retired.
off a little bit, but yeah,
Oh.
looks pretty tight for sure. The track is a lot grippier, it looks like, compared to the start.
Could be close here for RBK, as he's actually coming into the
he's
pit,
going
so
in.
he must have had a poor run. He hits the wall as well. But I just want to quickly say a hello to Wycombs, our current championship leader, who's in the chat with us, and he's currently watching us from Brussels in Belgium. So hello there, Wycombs. You could have brought
What are
in.
you doing in Belgium, Wycombs?
You could have took a PC with him to Belgium, and he could have raced from his hotel room or something. You know, would have been nice. But good to see you, Wycombs, and I hope you're having a great time in Belgium. So I think he's here to watch Berg here and see if he makes some mistakes, and he doesn't want his championship lead. Well, actually, Berg's lead in the championship.
I'm sure he's not here to support Fizzy.
I think he is here to support Fizzy, and I think everyone has completed there. We're just waiting for RBK to retire from the session, and then we'll go through your grid for tonight's Japanese Grand Prix here in AOR. And I just want to quickly say, guys, make sure you like the stream, guys, and also if you're new, make sure to subscribe as well if you want to see more of this AOR broadcast here tonight. As we're just waiting now, as it's going to go through the flickering of the drivers.
So nice lights.
It's the sort of our Christmas lights right now. Everyone in the chat's asking Wycombs, why is he in Brussels? Well, we think he's on holiday, everyone. So
For the waffles, of course.
he is. So here's our grid then. Berg getting pole then by only 9/100ths of a second from Strees in second. RBK lines up in third with Afro in fourth. Fader in the Force India gets P5. Slick in P6. Fizzy in P7, a good strong showing there from the Manor driver, with Fab Racer in 8th, Deve in 9th, Kalon in 10th, Nooker 11th, Max and the other Force India in 12th. Then we've got Chicane, Nicky, Springer, our reserve driver in 15th, Mathis in 16th, the returning Nally in 17th, and Andre did not set a time in qualifying because he did retire from the session with a disconnection there. So we're going to be leaving the session, and we'll be rejoining very shortly. Why we do this, if you're new to the AOR, is because we will not be solid cars if we stayed in the lobby, we'll become solid cars when we retire, so it may affect the drivers on the first lap, so we have to leave the lobby and then we'll come back in again, and then we'll be ghosted throughout the race, so it won't affect the drivers on there. So a lot of people are asking you, Marco, to say bois. We'll have to wait and see if there's an incident in the race, then maybe he'll do it, but we'll wait and see on that one. But yeah, it should be quite exciting to race this one tonight. With the dry conditions throughout the whole race, this could be interesting tonight, Marco, wouldn't it?
Well, sure, it will be interesting if Berg doesn't run away with it from the start. But other than that, the mid-pack should be very close.
It shall indeed. And we're just waiting right now for basically the all clear to go into the lobby and join the session, of course. Have you joined the lobby yet, Marco?
I did, and I can hit the spectate button, so I think we can join it.
So I'm going to head back into the session. There we go. We haven't got any issues like we did in Spa, which is fantastic. I'm just going to wait for a little bit.
I'll take a gander for you.
Yes, you can have a little glance.
I can always read you.
You can indeed, right there. So let me know, guys, in the comments right now, who are you supporting tonight? Who do you think is going to win this race tonight? It is going to be open tonight because we have got some very quick drivers here tonight. You've got, obviously, Berg, you've got Strees, you've got RBK looking quick. You've also got Slick from his win last time out as well, but, so he's very quick. And then you've got the likes of Fizzy that could play a vital role in strategy tonight and maybe go a little bit longer on his tyres. So we'll see what these guys do tonight. As we're just going to wait for Marco to say we can go in. Of course, I'm pretty sure they'll be on their formation up by now, but obviously we...
No, no, they're actually still on the grid. No,
They're
they're starting now.
So we're going to head into the session now. So we should not be on the grid. Well, I'm hopefully not on the grid, but
I'm having a great view.
So let's have a look. Yep, we're fine, and it's absolutely lovely conditions right there here in Suzuka as the drivers head off then on their formation up. But let's look at the tyre wear for the actual tyres for this race tonight. We've got Berg, our championship contender, on pole on the softs, which is interesting. Then we've got Stries behind him on the hard tyres. That's a very bold move from that Ferrari driver there. And then we've got RBK on the softs as well. And we've got Afro on the hard tyres as well. We're going to jump on board actually with these drivers to show you guys what tyres they're on. A little bit easier. So the top 4, 2 of them are on hards, 2 are on softs. So that's going to be intriguing, that is. And then we've got Fader on the hards as well in the Force India. Slick is on the grid apparently. He's not moved, so he's on the medium tyre. Fizzy is on the hards. Fab Racer also on the grid, and he's also on the hard tyre. Deve on the medium tyres, and then we've got Kalon revving his car in reverse there. I don't know what he's doing. It might be a little bit of a glitch there. So Kalon on the hard tyres. Nooker on the hard tyres as well. Max also on the hards. Chicane as well. Nicky on the medium tyres. Springer on the mediums as well. Mathis on the hards. Nally on the hards as well, and Andre is on the soft tyres. So nice range of tyre strategies for these guys tonight. Only one person, two guys on the mediums, about 70% of the drivers on the hards, and then everyone else on the soft tyre. So nice range of strategies tonight, Marco. Who's your money on?
Yeah, it's really interesting, especially considering the leader takes the softest tyre and the guy behind him is on the hardest. If he can stay with him for just long enough, he has a very good chance today, Street, for sure. And RBK as well. Other than that, yeah, Slick, like one of the few guys from mediums, is interesting. And yeah, the soft runners will have to make up places or extend their leads very quickly in the race. So let's see.
We'll see as there's a lot of smoke there on the grid. Obviously, the guys who had to auto start from the grid will be interesting. So here we go then, for the start of the AOR PC Split 1 Championship here. Round 13, as the lights are now on. Wind them up in words in Chris there, well, inspiring from Chris. Here we go then, the lights are out and away we go here for Suzuka, and it's a great start from Berg. Also, Stries gets a good start on those hard tyres, but the back end slides, and then RBK is going to move up to second place then. What a start from the Toro Rosso man, and he runs a little bit wide into turn 1, and everyone is all clear, which is what we want to see. A lot better than what we've seen previously. Take Hungary for example, but everyone taking it smooth there, and a good start there from RBK, especially on those soft tyres. Had to get past Stries, and now can really charge now and fight with Berg. But Stries has to just really keep up with the 2 drivers ahead of him if this strategy is going to work there. And the rest of the field as well, all on those hard tyres as well. But a clean start, Marco. That's what we want to see.
Yeah, that's it's an awesome train of cars right now if you look at the broadcasting view, and I'm glad to see everyone is away cleanly for once.
Is as well, and Slick on those medium tyres as well, getting up to 4th place, so a good start from the Mercedes driver. And who's the biggest loser from this? Afro lost a position at the start, he's down in P5. Failer in
Stries as well, but RBK is the biggest winner.
He is indeed.
Stries is under pressure by Slick now as well on the mediums.
Yes, so we're going to
Slick
head up.
should be able to get.
We're on board with Slick then as he comes out of Spoon, then gets a good run here on Stries, but Stries got a good exit as well as he's just harvesting a little bit of Urs there. You can just see the blinking red light there from the back of the Ferrari. So he's saving a little bit of Urs there. Obviously, they can't do it manually. The game does it automatically as he goes through the chicane then. But Berg holds on to the lead, but RBK, just going to jump on board of him, has closed that gap down from 8 tenths of a second. It's now 6 tenths of a second between. And Berg has gone very wide actually into the wall. I don't know what has happened. And RBK will take the lead of the Grand Prix. Very bizarre from Berg there. Maybe wheel
freeze or something, or
I do not know what happened there, but we'll hope to clear that one up there for you guys. But massive moment there. Can we see a potential sign that Berg could retire from this race here with that screen freeze? Maybe that's what caused him to retire in Monza last week. But that is a massive moment there, and RBK will lead the Grand Prix then at the end of lap.
Is RBK on the softs all of a sudden for you as well?
He is on the softs. He is on the softs.
Says it as well for me. Okay.
So we have got the Cody's Christmas light feature again. So that's what we don't want to see, of course. But
Berg is struggling.
Berg is struggling. Maybe he's got a problem. Maybe it could be his wheel. Maybe could be a screen freeze. I don't know what hell happened there. We hope to hear some news as soon as possible regarding Berg there, but that's not what he wanted. And a bit Wycombs is going to get a little bit excited by that actually. That he saw just Berg there on my screen, just going to the right hand side. He nearly hit the wall actually. Luckily he avoided it and not got any damage there, so he's a very lucky boy there. But Strees all over the back of our championship contender. I don't know if Berg's got a problem, but he's going very slowly, and Strees will hold back for now, going through 130R. But he's going to go around the outside now, is Strees, and gets it done easily. Berg just lets him through, and Berg drops to 3rd place now. He's lost 2 seconds to RBK already. Something is not right.
Fizzy is also under pressure by the Williams now.
Strees runs wide out of the last corner, and here comes Berg again down the straight towards turn 1. They're going to go side by side, but Strees has a good run actually out that outside line and breaks later than Berg, and he holds on to 2nd place there. But RBK has to take this chance now, as now Slick is all over the back of his teammates, so maybe could see some cheeky team orders here from Mercedes like we saw today in Hungary. Maybe this could work for him, but Berg is really struggling now. I don't know if his tyres are gone or whatnot, but he's really struggling here, Marco.
It looks like a connection issue to me, like frame freezing that he has to correct afterwards. Like every time the frame freezes, you don't see what's happening and then correct it. And it's just a matter of time. If it happens in the wrong place, then he'll be off the track soon.
He may have picked up some front wing damage. Apparently Wycombs may have spotted something that we've not seen, that he may have a little bit of front wing damage there, so that may be the cause of him being a little bit slow right now. But Papa's just mentioned in the chat there's a glitch in the game that sometimes your car turns in one direction. That's I've not seen that. I've not seen that before or experienced it.
I've also heard about a setup glitch that gives you like two wings or something.
It has a Slick nearly thought about a move there on his teammate Berg, but he decides to stay behind him, driving as Nico Rosberg.
Get him on the start-finish straight for sure.
But Berg will have DRS on Strees potentially out of the last corner here. But RBK gets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix with a 36.2. Berg does not get DRS, and this should be an easy move here for Slick. Down the straight then they go, and Slick now moves up to P3 on those medium tyres, and Berg has to settle for P4 for the time being. But we're going to go down the field, as there's a bit of a battle going on between the McLarens for P5, with Afro holding off his teammate Fab Racer, and both are on the hard tyres as well. So good, nice to see a bit of some inter-team battles here tonight, Marco. We saw just then the Mercedes fighting ahead just ahead there, you can see on my screen, and then you got these McLarens there. So good to see that we've got some inter-team battles tonight.
Yeah, definitely, and looks like the 5 to 10, is a big train battling each other as well. It's just great to see these guys following each other so closely.
There's a cluster of cars behind this man here, AOR Fizzy, right now leading in P7, this train of about 5 cars behind him. From 7th down to 12th, you've got a Williams, you've Dave, you've got Kalon, you've got Nooker as well, all fighting for P7 in this race, which is what we want. And Nooker's got a good run here on the Ferrari of Kalon, who looked pretty good actually last week. And Nooker nearly goes into the back of the Ferrari of Kalon there, but luckily both drivers got away scot-free with that one. But that
was a tricky entry. It's no place to overtake either, but let's see if he can get him into the chicane now.
We shall see if he's going to jump on board with Nooker, then going into 130R. Gets a nice run there, running as my man Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull, going into the final couple of corners. Then Fizzy runs a little bit wide actually, which will hinder him a little bit on exit speed, which gives Dave a chance to overtake him. We're going to jump on board as Nooker nearly loses it on the back end there. But Fizzy, luckily ahead of him, has got DRS from the McLaren of Fab Racer, so he's going to hold on there to P7 for the time being, and everyone stays the same as they are. But good battling here. Right, there is Fizzy just had a little bit of a moment, and actually Fizzy's just had a little bit of a screen freeze actually, and he's dropping down the field actually. He's lost 2 positions, drops from 7th to 9th, and that'll be very frustrating for Fizzy.
Yeah, I think I actually saw him freezing on my screen there. Did you see that as well?
Yep, I was actually right behind him. I was on board with Nooker, seeing him disappear. But up front, Dave now is having a look at Fab Racer, who I think's also had the same problem as Fizzy, who's just dropped off actually from his teammate there. So everyone's struggling tonight with connections here. I don't know if it
Berg
could be...
is under pressure by Afro now as well. He's dropped that much.
He has. Surely Berg has to pit this time. He has to. If he has any chance. If he's struggling with tyres, he has to pit this lap. But how long do you think the softs will last here, Marco?
Well, they should last at least 8 laps if they're used. So I'm really surprised that at lap 5 he's already struggling.
Could maybe the weather potentially? Could that play a factor? Maybe with track temperature?
Or he chose a range setup for quali and thought that he could just pull away.
That's a very good point, actually. That's a very good point. So we're going to keep an eye on this battle here for P4 between Berg and see if Berg comes into the pits. He stays out. And, excuse me, he's going to hold off here. We're going to just see Afro at the minute. He has got DRS on Berg, but look behind them. Is an absolute cluster of triple slipstream going on here and DRS. And Fabrace's doing a good job to defend from Dave and Kalon. He's actually run wide, Fabracer, and loses 2 positions, drops from 6th to 8th, and actually he's going to try and get a position back on Kalon, side by side for the S's, but Kalon has that inside and will hold on to P7 there. So all action, all up and down the field, but we're going to head back to the front of the pack, whereas this man, RBK, is currently leading the Grand Prix with Strees in 2nd place, 4 seconds behind. But remember, Strees is on the hardest compound tyre, the orange striped tyre, and RBK is on the faster tyre, the soft compound tyre. So actually, Strees is doing a good job here, actually holding on to a decent gap to our race leader. And you got to think about Slick as well. He's only a few seconds behind Strees as well. So we could see a repeat of a rivalry here from last week at Monza here, Marco. Who do you think's going to come on top here in the first round of pit stops?
The car with the fastest team usually gets the fastest pit stop here, so you're gonna have to give it to one of the top teams in this case.
We'll see as we're going to see if RBK is going to be pitting very shortly as we get a great overshot here of Suzuka with RBK going through the last corner. Obviously, corner cutting here is going to be quite interesting. There are a few sections you can cut and get a penalty. So
yeah, considering penalties, sorry Ryan, I am just looking at RBK's lap times to see how his tyres were, but he already has 2 penalties at the moment.
Wow. Are they 3-second penalties?
It says penalty plus 2 warnings on lap 1 and then another penalty and a warning on lap 4, so first lap penalty might get scrapped, you never know. Considering his pace, he's doing really good consistently. He's still in the 36s, 36.3. Yeah, that's really consistent.
That is interesting to see, but that penalty is going to be on this guy's mind right now here, Strees, who may know if Jeff's mentioned to him that the car ahead of him's got a penalty, so he's maybe thinking about that at the time. But we know Strees got some penalties last week. For one of them was cutting the corner. Well, actually both were, but one of them he got removed because he did not gain any advantage. So that's going to be on his mind as well, that he does not want to get any more penalties from last week. Because the man behind him, Slick, he's not that far away, and he's doing pretty well on those medium tyres. And
just look at the Berg at the moment. The Dave train is catching up on him.
Oh, he is indeed. This is not what Berg needs, and I bet Wycombs in the chat is going to be very happy with what's going on with Berg, and he may drop a few positions here. He's about to be swamped by the Dave train, as Marco's just mentioned. So we're going to jump on board, actually, with Dave, who is doing a good job in the Williams, actually, since he joined mid-season. As he's going to go through 130R, he goes. Beautiful run there. Berg struggling through 130R. He's going to have to defend. Dave goes down the inside and gets the job done and moves up to P5. What a move that is by Dave. And he moves up into the top 5. Berg surely... Oh no, he's not. He's staying out again. I just don't understand why Berg... He should be pitting, really.
Yeah, considering like the leader is still very consistent, he must have damage or something.
Oh wow, look at these cars right now. Berg's dropped another position to Kalon, actually, and he's about to lose another position to the McLaren right now, and I think that's Fab Racers. There's been a bit of contact, actually, between the two of them, and Berg just holds on there, but he's got Max is it Max behind him or Fab Racer? I'm not...
It's Nuka now.
It's Nuka, but Berg's struggling right there. And that little bit of contact with the McLaren, maybe going to the stewards, I think. I think that was a little bit dirty from Berg, but we'll wait and see if it does. But look at the cars here. 6 cars all in one picture right now. This is going to get intriguing in this race. Look at them all. They're all single file in this Berg train right now. But they've got to get past at least Berg. And there's actually a Renault going down the inside, actually. I think that was Nicky, actually, making a mistake. He's trying to go for the move, and he's dropped down to 13th place.
Was it Nicky or was it Knolly?
It was Nicky. Nicky went off and tried to go for a move down the inside. A very late move, a Max Verstappen-esque move. And it didn't work for him there today, so he's dropped to 13th place.
The final chicane.
But Nooker is on the back. Oh my god, are we going to see an overtake at 130R here? Nooker's got a good run. He's going to try and go around the outside of Berg, but no, he backs out of it. But Berg runs very wide, actually. And now we're going to see a repeat of Deve's move, but no, he doesn't. And Nooker stays in place.
Dave just lost it to Kalon.
Yep, I just spotted that in the distance. And Berg finally pits then. After 8 laps on those tyres, we're going to see what tyres he's going to be going on, and he's going on to the hard tyre, which could potentially get into the end of the race. And a good stop there. Good stop from Mercedes there. And
yeah, no wing change.
No wing change, so that theory from Wycombs has just gone out the window. But
we missed RBK.
Oh, Berg's just had a moment in the pits as well. He's had another screen freeze in the pits. That is not what he needed right there for his championship.
RBK also just came out of the pits in 13th.
We just missed that, actually, and Berg is on the hard tyres right there. And he's into some clean air, and he's got his teammate Chicane ahead of him. So maybe there could be some cheeky switcheroo, maybe at Toro Rosso to help him.
I'm not sure if Chicane will give RBK a hard time. We'll see. It just depends on how his head is on his neck at the moment.
We'll see. We shall see as Stree's currently in the lead of the race then, as Afro is in 3rd, as Slick on those mediums there in 2nd place, and he's only 3 seconds behind our race leader. But big moment in that race then. Berg struggling, and is he getting the sign of a bit of a bottle there tonight, Marco? Is he going to bottle it?
Yeah, well, you just said it, Ryan. It looks that way at the moment. I don't know what's going on with him. Honestly, I'm very curious to hear from him if he's in the chat after the race, if he even wants to talk.
Yep, or he'll be posting it in the YouTube chat as always, like he always does in the interview phases. But Dave doing pretty well in P4 actually for the Williams team, so good job for him. He's put out a gap to Nooker behind. He was in that great battle with Berg before he pitted, and Nooker's just had a Fizzy in P6, so don't count Fizzy out of a top 5 finish, even a podium here. He's on those hard tyres. And
out of the bag, and Strees is building a nice gap to Slick here as well. 3.2 seconds is the gap at the moment.
We've got some battles going up and down the field. We're now watching Max and the Force India in P8. He's just holding off from Fab Racer, Nicky and Mathus. And they're having a good scrap there for P8, all the way down to P11 actually, so that's great to see. And RBK has got ahead of his teammate actually, so they might have done the switcheroo off camera. So he's up to 12th place, and people are asking where Springer is. There he is in P15, doing a good job on his debut in AOR as a reserve driver, and Nally in the Renault making his return to AOR after having some wheel issues earlier in the season. He is in 14th place, so good to see him back in AOR. Nally, very consistent driver, he is very clean as well, and it's good to see him back.
I like to mention the penalties at the moment. The oddest thing I'm seeing at the moment is that RBK supposedly got a stop and go penalty on lap 1, but I don't think he has taken it, because he shouldn't be at the front if he has taken it. So he must have ignored it for some reason, or the game didn't. Yeah.
I think with the stop and go penalty, he has to stop in his box in his pit stop anyway, because it's automatically. So maybe he took that during his first pit stop there, and that's why he maybe down the field as low as 13th when he came out. So that might be the
he has another 3 seconds. Burke also has 3 seconds, but it must have been because he had a lot of cuts from freezes.
Oh, that is not what you wanted. I've had that. I've had that a few times in Xbox.
Freeze has 3 seconds as well on him.
Penalty central tonight, and this man on our screen.
Slick is in the hot seat once again if he keeps it clean. And,
it's just like Monza all over again, isn't it? Right now.
Yeah. Fab Racer has one, Andre has one, and Nally has one. So.
Penalty central tonight. That's what we want to see, of course. Afro. They're not far behind Slick, who will be pitting very soon, actually, I believe. I would probably say a few more laps, Marco, before he pits.
Yeah, Nuka actually taking his pit stop, and according to my camera, he's on the softs, which I find surprising. I reckon he would go on the hard still here.
Maybe going for the aggressive one, so maybe going for the aggressive strategy tonight, but Slick's got his pit thing on, apparently on his wheel. You can see just there on the right hand side of your screen that he is apparently going for a pit stop, so we'll see if Slick goes into the pits. But would you be tempted here to do what Nuka's done and go for an aggressive strategy here on the soft tyres?
No, not at all, to be honest. I mean, you see these guys can make it in one stop, why make two?
Well, I mean, the tyres can last 8 laps, we know that, and they're going to lap 12, so anyone who wants to try that strategy may be tempted, and we know the soft is dramatically quicker than the hard round.
It is, but it drops off really quick, and in Nuka's case, he wasn't really in the position to do aggressive strategy. He was just ahead of Fizzy. Yeah, he can undercut him here, for sure, but if Fizzy decides to go on the hards, then he has to do a lot of overtaking near the end of the race. I think he honestly made a mistake selecting his tyres, but well, let's wait and see.
We shall indeed. A lot of you people have been asking about this man, Failer. He's in 17th place. Make that 15th place, and I think a few people have just pitted. Nicky's pitted, and Fab Racer pitted. As Nicky's come out on the softs, actually, and Fab Racer on the hard tyre. Berg is down in 14th place at the minute, and not where he wants to be. He was scored no points, and as it will stand, Wycombs will still lead the championship by 4 points. So I bet Wycombs will be a bit happy at this point, but obviously a few of the drivers ahead of Berg have not yet stopped in this Grand Prix. Nuka actually obviously jumped, or not jumped actually, but is in that fight with Berg, so he needs to really get past these guys ahead of him. And speaking of the devil, he goes down, he's going to try and go down the inside of the Haas of, I believe that is Springer, and gets the job done. But Springer's not giving up yet. He's going to be side by side with Nuka. Round the outside does the Red Bull, and he's going to get that job done. He will have the inside for Spoon coming up, so I think Nuka's going to get that job done. He does indeed. Moves up to 12th, and he's going to hunt down Nally next in the Renault. So Nuka on the charge, but he needs to get in that clean air if he wants that strategy to work. But Chicane currently in 10th on the hard tyre in that last points paying position, which is great to see for him. Mathis in 9th, as he's got RBK right ahead of him actually. And has Mathis stopped yet? I don't think he has actually. So he's keeping it with RBK, which is interesting actually, Marcus. So that's maybe RBK's saving some tyres, maybe?
Possibly. Nuka's going for the overtake here on Nolly into turn 1 as Williams comes out of the pits.
Which is good to see. Watching RBK then, who's he got ahead of him here? Is that Max? It is indeed Max in P5.
Slick has pitted, by the way. He's in 9th.
He has indeed.
Yes,
so he's lost a little bit of ground to RBK actually. What
RBK had a big undercut after all. So
he did. What tyre is he on, Marco? Is
who?
Slick.
It looks like Slick at the moment is on the hard tyre, so he's going till the end, possibly. He's now behind Chicane, just like RBK came out of the pits behind Chicane. So.
Nicky retires from the race as well. You may have just seen that on your screen. So there's a bit of disappointment there for Nicky. He had a good start, and then he made the mistake at the hairpin. That lost him a few positions, and it's just not been his day today. But RBK
has not pitted.
He's not pitted, that's good. RBK then going to go side by side with Max. They're going through 130R, and Max actually does a good job of defending there. But RBK, if he wants to win this race, he's got to get past this Force India very quickly. And Max, props to him for defending very well. But I think he's going to lose out here with the DRS down the straight then. And the flap opens up for RBK. And is this going to be a move? He pulls out, and it should be a comfortable move unless he's got a bit of high wings there. But down the inside, he gets it done and moves up to P5 as Nuka puts in the fastest lap of the Grand Prix now with a 35.7 for the Red Bull driver. Fizzy still going in P4, doing a stellar job in the manor tonight. Obviously, he's not yet stopped. Kalon as well, not stopped yet in 3rd. Marco, have you got something to say?
Yeah, Kalon as well, like you said. And Afro is steady as well. In 2nd place, 6.9 seconds away from the leader. So still going strong on the hards. And the leader as well.
Indeed. Alex Launton wants to know what the next race is. It is the United States at Austin, Texas. Not one of my favourite tracks, if I'm not going to lie to you guys.
It is good for drivers, but the last sector is bullshit.
Yes,
RBK
it
is 21.7 seconds away from the leader. Pit stops are around that time, so it should be very close.
It shall be indeed.
We do gotta remind that S13 is gonna be on mighty fresh and faster tires, so S13 should have this on RBK in the end.
You should do, and we've just got a driver of the day vote putting in the chat, so if you guys want to keep that in mind going into the last few stages of the Grand Prix, you guys can vote for who you think deserves it tonight, but it's not yet at the minute. I wouldn't say do it now, but there is a vote in the chat. The moderators will be posting it throughout the last 5 laps of the Grand Prix, so my advice to you, don't do it now, because something could happen in the last few laps of this race. So but just keep in mind who you think deserves driver of the day tonight at the minute. I don't know who to call at the minute. We can't really tell until everyone's pitted at the minute, Marco. But you've got any candidates in mind? But obviously don't say who it is yet. But have you got someone in mind?
I have a few people in mind that started not in the top 5 and are actually doing, like, punching above their weight at the moment. Like Fizzy and Kalon are really doing well. They're 15 seconds away from the leader. So.
You never know. Afro's doing a good job in 2nd place. He's only 6 seconds off the race lead. And remember the penalties as well to come into play, with S13 obviously having a few penalties. Yeah. RBK as well. So we could see.
Let's see if Afro is.
That's a good point. Let's see if anyone in the top 4 have got penalties. We know S13 has got one.
Afro has 2 warnings, so he's on the edge. So
one more and he gets a penalty. Yeah. Doesn't want that. Yes, Ycoms is not racing in United States next week, but he'll be delighted, and gives him a bit of hope in the championship if Berg doesn't finish inside the point. Even a point wouldn't be that much of an issue for our current championship leader if Berg gets into the points at the lower end of the field.
Afro is in the pits and a Ferrari just came out, so both S13 and Afro pitting.
Let's see what
S13 come.
Sorry to interrupt you there. Afro onto the medium tyres, and S13 also on the medium tyres, and we've lost. S13 is out. Our race leader is out of the Grand Prix. Is this a repeat of? Could this be a repeat of Berg from last week? Right there. So the Gremlins, the internet Gremlins, are back once again for S13, and hopefully he can get his internet sorted very quickly and get back in the session. But this gives a big chance here for RBK, who is now basically going to take the lead of the Grand Prix once Fizzy and Kalon pit in this one. Do you think they could maybe go on to the softs here, Marco, if these guys ahead can manage these tyres right now, and S13 actually comes back into the session? So that's
lucky for him.
That is lucky for S13. He is still ghosted at the minute, but
they might want to go for softs if they can make it for 2 more laps.
But we'll have to wait and see here. They've still got 12 laps to go here, but S13 still ghosting at the minute, as he's going to try and load in, but he's retired from the session again, and I think this could be game over. I think for S13.
Berg is in 10th, so it's not like he will be very close to him very soon. But Luca's just in spoon on the inside of the Toro Rosso. Let's see what happens here.
He is, and he gets the job done there. Just caught it at the last minute, and Nuka runs that back end very wide. And obviously he may be pitting. Obviously he will pit again, of course, for a set.
He has to.
He has to, of course. Did he start on the hards, didn't he? So he'll be fine on that because it is the mandatory tyre. But the Toro Rosso's not giving up yet. Chicane, not giving up yet on that P7 there. So we have to keep an eye on that one. But a massive shock in this race, like we saw, and S13 is just dropping down the field now, as we've got a battle here for P5 between Slick and Afro, and Afro is going to go down the inside of the Mercedes, and he gets it done into turn 1 and moves up to P5 with Afro on the quicker tyre of the mediums. So a good job there from Afro, and he's going to try and hunt down RBK, who has the penalties, remember, like Marco mentioned. If you could give us an update in a few laps time, Marco, with any penalties, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, we'll do. I just checked, there weren't many added since last time.
But at the minute, Kalon leads the race in the Ferrari, doing a good job on those. To get these 17 laps on the hard, that is a pretty good job
You can do about 18 laps on these actually, Ryan.
Oh wow, well, that's interesting. And Fizzy as well, doing a stellar job. But to be fair, they've got RBK coming at them very quickly right now, so maybe they could hold him up a little bit, maybe get some dirty air, will affect the tyre wear. But Fizzy's struggling through Spoon there, just getting half his car over onto the curb, which you don't want to do at this point. And Fizzy coming down then, down that long straight towards 130R. And who's that just popped out there?
Dave retired.
Dave retired from the session. That's a real disappointment there for Dave. And Andre gets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, by the way. So any Andre fans, your man's got fastest lap. It's like Alonso.
RBK is gaining up on Fizzy and Kalon, so almost a pit stop ahead of them technically.
Still going though. Lap 18 of the Grand Prix, and Kalon still leads. And you got to say these guys could have a chance here of getting on the podium if they're going to go onto the soft tyres. They are definite contenders for a podium. But who's in P3? Well, Slick will be in P3 once the field pit, and they're only 9 seconds ahead of Slick right now, are Kalon and Fizzy. So that's around about what, 9 seconds when they come out the pit. So it's going to be very close at the end of the race. So we'll see how that goes.
I don't think Afro is gonna pit. He already pitted for medium, so he might try to go to the end.
Stree's still going on track, and he's still P6, but I don't think he's going to lose a position here to Nooker very shortly. Berg in P8 at the minute, but he'll move up to P7. And I think if my maths is correct, he will lead the championship if he stays in 7th place. And Fizzy's Ycoms is telling Fizzy to pit this lap. So Fizzy best do what Ycoms mentioned. Of course, Ycoms is the teammate to Fizzy on their great little team. They are good teammates, and there's a battle going on between my car and Streezer's car right now, ahead of Fizzy. So I'm just going to just see the battle going up ahead with myself and Streez as they're going to go into the battle. Good little battle going on, I've got to say. It's actually Kalon, actually. I thought it was Streez, but it's not, as my ghost car is going to distract them as Kalon, and Fizzy stays out for another lap. Wow, okay, he's going to definitely try and go onto the soft tyres then to the end of the race. Right now, Deve's just come in saying he's not happy with that. So he's a bit disappointed there. Let's
see what Kalon does. He goes on the softs as well.
So that's interesting.
Which is possible.
It can be, but he's going to be maybe struggling with a few laps to go. Fizzy's just going that extra lap just to be on the safe side. And Berg is in P7 at the minute, but Streez is slowly going to the grips there. Nooker's got ahead of him, which is good, and a bit of battle there. Marco FD's just ahead of a Slick here in 18th place, so at least you're doing good there, Marco, tonight.
I think I'm losing to you, aren't I?
You are. RBK now
What's good about that?
He's all over the back now of Fizzy now is RBK. Deve's just popped into the chat saying that he's got a screen full of sparks, so I don't know if that's a graphic issue for Deve, so it's a bit of disappointment there. Deve looking pretty strong in the race, so it's a real shame to see that happen there. So unfortunate for you there, Deve, but hopefully you can bounce back in the United States as well. But we're now watching RBK then. We've only got 9 laps, we'll make it 8 laps at the line here, Marco. So Fizzy can definitely go onto the softs now if he pits this lap, and I'm pretty sure he will.
I think he will, yeah.
We're going to just jump on board with Fizzy then, our current leader, as he's going to come into the chicane for the 19th time. And is he going to pull into the pits? He does indeed. So Fizzy, the final man to pit then in this Grand Prix for his second stop, and just about makes it to that pit limiter.
Luca is supposed to pit now then as well. He's on the softs. Yep, he's pitting.
He does indeed. So here we go then, as Andre has retired from the race, so he's out. Which is a real shame. And a bit of a slow stop there for Mana for Fizzy, so he's going to drop down a few.
Luca's going on the hard tyres. Well, that's really odd.
That's very odd. Maybe it could be the Christmas lights. You never know. It could be the Christmas light effect. Fizzy comes out in P7, so that's not bad for him. In some clean air as well, but loses out to Kalon actually. So Kalon doing the undercut on Fizzy and is on P6, and he's got about 3 seconds to catch up here. And Berg is just about to overtake Streez for P4 in this Grand Prix. There he goes. So Berg up to 4th. So a good recovery here from Berg von Trips after his technical issues on the first lap. and his issues on the first stint on the soft tyre. So not bad there from Berg. So definitely a contender for driver of the day on there. Marco, could you just give us an update on the penalties as we've only got 8 laps to go here? Any developments on RBK especially?
And like you said, Nuka went on the softs, not the hards. Fab Racer has another 3. Dave had 3, but he's out. Nolly has 3.
I think we could see here.
Berg has 3. Failer has 3. Chicane got a drive-through. Afro has 3 now, so he's not clean anymore.
No,
So,
but
I think the top 3 has 3 seconds, all of them.
but to be fair, RBK's on the hard tyre. Afro is on the medium tyre. He's on the faster tyre, and he's closing that gap down by 4 tenths down that last lap. It's now 2.3 seconds, and with the penalties, we could see a Monza all over again tonight. This is going to be intriguing, this race. Yes, Jess, Stries has had some connection issues and retired from the race, but his ghost car is still out on track. He tried to rejoin, but I think his connection went again. But Wycombs is going, Afro's going to win the race. But Berg with those penalties could drop down the field.
RBK at the moment has 2 penalties, 1 on lap 1 and 1 on lap 4. So let's say if the lap 1 gets taken away, only has 1. And Afro has 1 as well, so that would mean Afro will have to overtake him on track.
He will indeed. He's not that far away. 2.1 seconds. He's took 2 tenths already out of our race leader there, as RBK just runs a little bit wide into Spoon, getting a little bit of dust from the side of his car there. Afro though doing a stellar job in the McLaren tonight, and we know he's quick. He has been in the lead for a few races actually over the course of the season, so we'll have to wait and see. And he would like to win a race. We've only got this race and 2 more to go, so he would like to get a nice little like a little moment to say, I won a race in PC Split 1.
Yeah, it's good to win at least 1 in the season. I can relate.
And I can as well, winning 1 race in my AOR career.
Oh, just 1, Ryan?
Yep, Season 3, Xbox Split 1, Monza. I won it because of a penalty to the race, to the actual race winner of that race. So you got a corner cut penalty, and I won it. So Fizzy coming in with the fastest lap, by the way. So our Mr. AOR has just popped in there. So got to keep an eye on Fizzy actually, as he's just about to pass Stries then, as he drops to P7. I don't think Stries will actually be classified if he finishes in the points, but
no, I don't think so.
he won't as well. But
yeah,
Berg's getting a little bit under pressure here. He's getting under pressure here, Berg. Kanon's catching him very quickly.
Obviously, he was gonna end up under pressure by him. Yeah, 1.6 seconds from the leader to Afro chasing down. So.
Oh, we've got Stries in the chat, by the way. He's just popped in and said his game crashed.
Well, why don't you just get on the game anymore, Stries? You're still driving around.
Yeah, you could still get some points, Stries. You could still have a chance. Oh, he won in Monaco. Apparently he did. Thanks, Wycombs. Winky face. It's been a while, Wycombs. It's been a long season.
Did Afro win in?
Apparently so, according to Wycombs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I believe he did.
It's been a while since that race, so we'll see. As Afro's now got the gap down to 1 second now, and we've still got 5 laps to go of this Grand Prix. So is he going to get DRS? No, he doesn't, but the gap is now exactly a second on lap 23 of this Grand Prix. If you said it's true, Marco, he has to get past him here with the penalties, but we could still see late drama in this Grand Prix. There's a Renault going very slowly as well, but...
Well, if it stays like this, he will come over the line a winner, but it might end up as the same as with Slick, like you said, Mons all over again, so we don't want that.
You've got to think about Slick as well. He has no penalties yet, and he's in third, and he's only just under 7 seconds away. So could he maybe jump up to second place in this Grand Prix, even a win?
Yeah, if these guys start battling and cutting corners because they have to, yeah, could be.
Exactly, that's the thing right there. Could we see Slick win another Grand Prix and then get it taken away from a penalty removal?
No, no, not then. In this case, then he will get it because of other people's penalties.
We will, and I can definitely confirm to you guys right now, the votes are now open for Driver of the Day. So if the moderators can post it in the chat right now, and now the votes are open for your Driver of the Day. So when you see the link in the chat, all you got to do is just click on it and then vote for who you think deserves Driver of the Day. There are a few contenders actually. For me, it's down now. I had about 4 coming in the halfway stage, and now I'm down to 2. I'm not going to say who it is yet, but well, you have to wait and see, guys. So, got to give a massive props to Mr. Bread in the chat, one of my subscribers, for doing the Driver of the Day poll. So, thank you very much, Bread, for that one. But your votes will close, guys, at the end of the race at Checkered Flag, and then we'll reveal the race, or the winner of Driver of the Day during our interviews tonight. It may be a bit of a short one because I do need to pop off straight after the race, so we maybe get 1 or 2 people in tonight. So I need to bounce away very quickly. But the gap is now 9/10 of a second. But you've got to think about now, Marco, is are Afro's tyres going to last with 4 laps to go here? He's not gaining as much now to RBK, so is that a bit of a concern for the McLaren driver right now?
Well, it's a good question because he went in on lap 15 in contrast to other people that went in on lap 18, but he went for a harder compound, so he should manage.
We'll see his teammate actually, Fab Racer, gets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, by the way. So a good day out in the office for McLaren. Of course, Alonso getting fastest lap in Hungary today, which I was actually quite shocked about, not going to lie. And we could see a McLaren winning tonight, potentially, if Afro's tyres can last and he can get past RBK. He's got slipstream as well, which is going to help him close the gap down. RBK saving a bit of ERS as well. You can just see the blinking light.
He should be able to do it on the start-finish straight, coming over the line.
He should do. It takes a nice run through 130R, and he's going to just take it.
He's just setting himself up here.
He's just warming himself up for the one. You've got to think about fuel as well. Maybe Afro is going to be saving a little bit of fuel as well to maybe make that late lunge on the rich mix. And he does get DRS, down the straight he goes. I don't think he's going to get him on this lap. He's just going to try and close that gap down, which is now half a second between the 2 drivers here, as actually he runs very wide at turn 1. But to be fair to him, he's corrected that absolutely fine, and it doesn't seem he's lost any time whatsoever. So props to Afro for that one there. A little bit of a scary moment there, and a little mini bottle. But you've got to say to Berg as well, he's 4th place now, and he's closing very slowly to his teammate now. The gap is 2.1 seconds between Slick and Berg von Trips. We know Berg has a penalty, of course. So this is going to be intriguing here, Marco, between the 2 Mercedes. Are we going to see a Bottas Hamilton that we saw today in Hungary again?
Possibly, if these guys are friendly to each other. I would personally like to see them battle rather than giving places. But yeah, it's possible if they're friendly with each other that he will have goodwill towards Berg, because Berg is in an opportunity to win a championship. And yeah.
He does indeed. Currently in the Driver of the Day votes, we've got a clear winner at the minute. It's not the driver who I would go for, if I'm honest. But yeah, Berg doing a good job in 4th with his recovery drive, so he's definitely a contender. This man on your screen is definitely a contender for Driver of the Day, Afro. And you've got to see RBK as well. You've got to say, RBK is another good contender, because
he's much closer here, so he should get his chance now.
He did as well, because the start was crucial for RBK to get past the guys on the hard tyres and fight with Berg, and obviously took the lead on the first lap, and he's not actually lost any positions realistically from the round of pit stops. And Afro getting very close here to RBK with 2 laps to go, and he's just giving it.
He doesn't have a lot of time left.
He's just absolutely pulling everything out of the book here to try and get a move here on RBK. We're coming down to the last laps of the race then. It's a classic AOR race, this one, once again here in Suzuka. What dramatic scenes, and we're going to see a late twist in the tail here. Maybe penalty.
He has to get him in these traction zones, because obviously you can't take him on the straight. We've seen that in the last 2 laps, so maybe into this hairpin or something.
Maybe we could see a Kobayashi style-esque move here, maybe. And he's very late on the brakes, is Afro. And there's been a little bit of contact there between the 2 of them there. And luckily, I think Afro's got no damage from that one, but
No.
very, very close that. Oh, that was very scary, that. But for Afro, luckily, no damage made from that little bit of collision there. But as Vader gets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, someone in the chat wants Vader to get the Driver of the Day vote. That could be a reason why to vote for him, for getting fastest lap of the Grand Prix. But Afro gets a good run here, going up to 130R, as we're about to start the final lap of this Grand Prix here in Suzuka. Who's going to win this one, RBK or Afro? Here as they come out of the chicane right now. And Afro is going to have a good run here. Back end slides out though. RBK gets a good exit as well. And this is going to be very interesting on this last lap of the Grand Prix. Penalties as
again.
He is indeed. And this could be a move maybe. No, he's not. He's going to stay where he is at this point. But RBK's got to just defend for his life right now if he wants to win this one. Oh, Afro's back end slides out there, going through the S as they go. And he's actually got a good run here. I think RBK's made a little bit of a mistake there through the middle half of the S's. Just gives Afro a little slimmer hope here going through. And Strees is going off to bed, so have a good night, Strees, and we'll see you next week. But this battle right now is 0.3 of a second, and it's going to be so close right now. We'll not forget about third place with Slick and Berg, but we're going to keep an eye on this battle right now. And oh, very close is Afro, nearly going to the back of RBK, and I think that's his chance blown from a race victory there. But all he's got to hope for is if RBK's got penalties, if he's going to have any more. But the battle behind him here, you can see here, Marco, P3, Slick versus Berg, and it's very close between the two teammates. So if you could just keep an eye on that for me for the time being and let me know if anything changes. As we're going to see now, RBK coming through the final sector he comes up to. Penalty. Afro completely going through 130 off flat. They could get another penalty there, but we're about to right now, and it's going to be a first win here for RBK unless he's got another penalty. Afro completely going through 130 off flat. They could get another penalty there, but we're about to find out here as RBK comes out the final corner. He will win the Japanese Grand Prix. Depending on penalties, we'll wait and see. And he's actually lost it, actually. Afro wins the Grand Prix for McLaren, and that only by 0.7 of a second. So one penalty has cost him the race victory here. And there's a battle for P5 right now between Kalon and Fizzy, and it's going to be Kalon just holding on there. But what a last lap that was, Marco. And did Slick
actually got another penalty on this penultimate lap, so he might have lost the win.
Oh, that is a real shame for RBK. But Afro picks up his second win of the season, and RBK horribly loses a race victory with one penalty. It reminds me of my experience of Australia in Season 4 when I could have won the Grand Prix, but I picked up a penalty with 3 laps to go. And Fab Racer spinning across the line. That is 10 out of 10 there, as the camera didn't really give me justice there to show you guys what happened.
I saw him spin really nice.
10 out of 10 there. And Strees comes across the line there. He's ghosted car in 12th, and apparently he's happy, but I don't think he will the Frenchman. But, wow, what an end to the Grand Prix. Penalties galore has just decided the race. But here's your, not classified results, but we'll wait and see after the stewards, guys. And we'll let you know next week.
Oh,
but
I think this one will stick, actually, right? RBK picked up the stop and go on lap 1, and he got 2 more after that, and the 2 that he got after that are bound to stay for sure. So.
Wow, but here we go then. Afro wins then by only 0.7 of a second from, was it 0.7? Or was it more than that? 2.2 actually. Slick gets just ahead of his teammate there. Obviously Berg had penalties, 2 penalties for him. Kalon in P5, just pipping Fizzy in P6. Then apparently Daniel Ricciardo got P7. I'm guessing that's Nooker. Max in 8th, Mathis 9th, and Springer in his first race for AOR gets a point, which is a fantastic achievement for a man coming into his first AOR race. That is a good job, that, Marco, wouldn't you say, for Springer?
Yeah, definitely a good first outing, getting a point right away. It's like Van Dorn last year in Bahrain.
We'll have to say that's a great job there from all the drivers tonight. And now let's go to interview time. I did say we'll be doing only a couple tonight because I am a bit busy.
I want to hear from Berg. What happened? Is he there?
No, Berg is not there. But race winner, we're going to bring in now. Afro, his second win of the season, and here he is. Afro, welcome to the booth, and congratulations for your race victory tonight. First and foremost, how did that feel for the last few laps, chasing RBK?
It was actually quite fun, being the hunter. That was quite fun. Just trying to do quality lap after quality lap, and kind of a shame I got the win on penalties, but I'll take it.
Gotta say, a stellar job. Did you know that RBK had penalties? Did Jeff tell you this, or did he not say anything in the race?
I knew he had a penalty, but I didn't know how much in how many seconds worth, because I knew I also had 3, so I didn't know if I was going to win or not.
We can let you know he had a stop and go penalty and 2 3-second penalties to let you know there. So, but I've got to say, was your one-stop strategy the most the best way for you in terms of your speed during practice this week? Did you feel that was the good strategy for you, or would you have gone somewhere different?
I didn't actually know my strategy because I only did 1 hour of practice before the race.
Well, there you go. There's some advice for you. Do an hour of practice and you win a Grand Prix. There you go. There. Marco, have you got any questions for our race winner?
Did you know that you were gonna win going over the line, or did your engineer keep you in the dark?
I was in the dark. I didn't know I was going to win at the end there.
How did it feel fighting with RBK? Obviously, it was very close in the last 5-6 laps there. How did it feel to race with a guy like RBK, and who was on a different tyre as well? Obviously, we were thinking that your tyres were going to go off in the last few laps compared to his. Obviously, the harder tyre can last a bit longer. How did it feel in those last few laps with the tyres?
The tyres, to be fair, the tyre was a lot less than I was expecting, but it was, what was it? Sorry, my mind's just drawn a blank.
That's alright.
Basically, it was annoying because I think I had high downforce in him, and then every time I tried to get near him on the straights, he must have had a lot less wings than me and just kept pulling away. Rather frustrating.
At least you got the victory, mate. That's the more important one. This is your 2nd win of the season, I believe, which is a very good job, actually, for you. And have you got anyone to give a shout-out to tonight for your race win, or...?
The only one I can give credit to is Merrick, because I used his time trial setup.
There you go, then. What can I say? Afro, great win for you tonight, mate. One quite final question for you. Obviously, we've got the United States coming up next week. How do you feel about that track?
I consider it one of my worst ones, just like Kando when you asked me last time.
What can I say? I always come up with these questions, and yeah, you said the opposite of what I was thinking you would do. Afro, good win tonight, mate, and we'll see you next week for the penultimate race of the season. Good job, mate, and we'll see you next time.
See you there. Thank you.
I think we have to bring in, RBK, wouldn't you say, Marco?
Yeah, for sure. He has probably a good story to tell.
We will. So we'll just bring him in, and I think that'll wrap it up, I think. So we'll bring him in. RBK, welcome to the booth.
Hello.
Obviously, disappointing for you. You came across the line in first, and then you had the penalties. Could you just explain what happened with your penalties tonight?
Well, a few errors here and there, and that caused this on same start. There was a yellow flag glitch, and I overtook Prix, and because of this overtake, I had a 5-second stop and go penalty. And if this penalty could be removed, I would be very happy, but I'm not sure.
You never know. I mean, glitches, the yellow flag glitch can be resolved in the steward, so I think it's worthy of trying. You never know what may happen. You could win the race from it.
I don't want to keep his hopes up. Those penalties can't be taken away because they are in the pit stop. If it were like a 3-second penalty for going wide, then yes, but in this case, it's probably not.
Just one question for you, RBK. Obviously, you had Berger ahead of you on the first lap, and then seeing him swerve right near the wall. What were you feeling at that point, seeing him go off like that?
That was really, really weird. I saw this tire on the main straight, and I thought that Berg will try to avoid this tire, but he didn't, and he ended up on the wall, and he was going very slow, so I overtook him very easily. To be honest, I was a bit happy, but at the same time a bit sad, because I knew that he's on the same strategy as I, so yeah, it was the same happy and sad for him.
One question I want to bring up to is Marco mentioned in the race your consistency was incredible. Your pace was really good of managing the tyres tonight. And how did the tyres feel for you on the opening stint? Because you were on the softs, weren't you? Because we had a little bit of an issue with the Christmas light feature of Cody's. You were on the mediums apparently on our screen, on my end actually. But the soft tyre, you did pretty well actually to get those long enough to go onto the hards at the end of the race. Were you slightly concerned with the tyres of the soft tyres? We saw on our side Berg was really struggling when he had the moment going into the wall. Did you have that moment in your mind thinking this could happen to me?
Well, I was pretty confident on this strategy, so these softs on start were very good. I wasn't really struggling that much, and that was very good for me. I had this pace that was I hoping for, and pretty much all strategy went very good.
Well, have you got a shout out you want to give? I know you are very famous now in my YouTube chat for speaking in your language. Would you like to do it again?
Yes, very much.
Feel free.
O, dziękuję wam wszyscy. No, przepraszam, że nie udało się. Było bardzo blisko, jechałem na tej pierwszej pozycji. No cóż, jeszcze powalczę z tymi karami, bo no, to mnie bardzo poirytowało, ale na szczęście no, to druga pozycja to też dobra pozycja, więc i tak dziękuję wszystkim za tym, którzy poświęcają swój czas przede wszystkim. No niestety trochę zawiedziony jestem, ale mam nadzieję, że wszystkim się podobało moja jazda. Dziękuję wam wszystkim.
Oh, absolutely lovely. Love to hear some Polish. I love it.
Yeah.
I can let you know as well, you've moved up to 4th in the standings now, and you're only 10 points behind Afro in 3rd. You could be in a top 3 spot, considering you only joined mid-season. How does that feel, to know that you're that close?
Well, I didn't predict this position for me at this stage, so I'm very happy for that. To be honest, I try to do not look at this I have to achieve this position. I just try to achieve better pace on races, and that's my goal, not position in standings.
Also, I can let you know before you go that the viewers have voted you Driver of the Day again. You picked up quite a few votes tonight. You got 40% of the vote, so congratulations, RBK, on that one. So we shall see you next week at United States for the penultimate round of the season. Good job, RBK, tonight, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
Thanks, cheers.
So that will wrap it up tonight, Marco. Just going to quickly go through the Driver of the Day votes quickly. RBK, as I mentioned, won with 40% of the vote, which is quite a landslide tonight. Failer and actually Afro both tied for second place on 19% of the votes. And then we've got a few votes for Slick, Berg, Max, Strees, Fizzy,
I thought you had so many Dutch viewers, right? And where are those during the streams?
I don't know, really. But before we go, Marco, who's your Driver of the Day tonight?
I'm gonna have to say Kalon, actually. He drove a very good race, and he didn't make any mistakes. He usually has a little bad luck, but this time he avoided it, so he's my P1 Ferrari driver.
Good job there. I will be picking Afro, actually, tonight. He did a stellar job on his strategy. And also shout-outs to RBK doing the soft hard strategy. I don't think I could ever do that. So he did a good job. Fizzy as well, Kalon that you mentioned. And in terms of the championship, the gap is 8 points now. Berg takes the lead from Wycombs, and I bet Wycombs will be a little bit wishing he wasn't in Belgium right now. And hopes that Berg has some issues, which will mean that if Berg can pull 18 points in the next race, so if he comes second or higher, Berg will be crowned champion in the next race at the United States of America, which is going to be next week, guys. Same time, same place on the channel. Make sure you like the video and you subscribe if you want to see more of the conclusion to Season 13 of the AOR PC Split 1 League. I've been Ryan, and as always, Marco, thank you so much for joining me in the booth tonight, taking over from Chris. And
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, Ryan, as always. Enjoy commentating with you, and I enjoy watching this race so close, and the championship should still be open, so that's good.
we shall see. But until next time, guys, I've been Ryan.
And I've been, let's say, finished Ted Graphics.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys next time by for the United States Grand Prix in AOR. Until then, guys, take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.